We are officially live. So, hello and welcome back to Satisfactory, where we are in the middle of our turbo motors. Now, Fixmas has started. You can see there is a present down there. We are going to finish the turbo motor factory before dealing with that. Just so that I don't have to run away in the middle of this and get distracted and then completely forget what I was doing. Although it's been a bit because of the Thanksgiving break, so I don't exactly remember 100% what I was doing anyways. But I do know that I'm staring here at a whole bunch of wire. So we've got all that wire going to some sinks. And we have rotors over here. So I assume that we're making stators now. So we need 150 of those. And we're using this. So we need 1,200 wire, 450 steel pipes. So, is this the correct amount of wire? Should have put throughput monitors on here before, but now we have them. Alright, so this is looking like 525 plus 400 and something. Alright, it's fluctuating. It's hard to tell, but I mean all of these look green, which is a good sign. And they're 75 each. So 75 times 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 75 times 16 is 1,200. Alright, so that is exactly the amount of wire that we need for the stators. That's a good sign. And then the steel pipes. Did I ever make the steel pipes, or do I just... I'm pretty sure I made steel ingots, right? Let's drop down here and see if any of this stuff is steel pipe related. We've got ingots here, and yes, we have steel pipes over here. Alright, so that should be straightforward then. And we've got 450 coming out of that. Alright, so we just need to ignore all the presents lying around. And there are so many of them. I'm just gonna grab one. Nah, we're gonna leave that all for next time. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be, audio and stuff that comes with that. And I wanna have that be all organized. So, let's see here. We have the wire over here. We have the pipes over there, which we can bring to wherever we need. And then we're going to need how many machines for this? 150 divided by 5, so we're going to need 30 assemblers, which is not that bad. But I do think it's going to be best to have that up a floor. So let's get some walls in, and up we go. Let's see, is 3 enough? I always forget how tall things need to be. Yes, to get over assemblers, 3 is enough. And this won't get over the sinks, but that's fine. So, let's expand all of this out, and we're going to need probably to just make a blueprint for the stators so that we can have the whole multiple floor set up conveniently. So, let's go into here, pop down a Blueprint Designer Mark II, and now I'm pretty sure that somewhere in here, if I go down to that. Yes, this is the correct basic layout. Now, is this the number that we want? 30 divided by 4 is 7.5, which is far from a convenient number. But we could go 32 divided by 4, and that works out nicely. Yeah, so let's go 150 divided by 32. Oh, wait, this is still set wrong. So this has to be set to stators. And 150 divided by 32 is 4 point something. So we paste those settings across. And as far as inputs, wire is 37.5, steel pipes is 14 point something. It's weird the wires are exactly 37.5 when this is such a weird number. It's funny how that works out. Anyways, 37.5 times 4 is 150. So yeah, we can use this bottom one for the wire input. This top one, I think, should be fine for the steel pipe input. So we don't have to do anything else. We can just save this as stators. Making a whole lot of not greatly labeled blueprints here, but that's fine. Don't worry about sorting these blueprints all out at some point. And more realistically, probably just deleting a bunch of them because they're used for one factory only, but it's nice to have the blueprints here so that I can just use them real quick. Alright, so we can just line this up basically however. So let's push it over this way, all the way up to the edge there. And then we can pop that in. And then we get all these in. Oh, and I think these don't autocorrect correctly, but that's fine. So we need 8 of these, right? That's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And we're apparently short on reinforced iron plates. I wonder what's gone wrong with those. It's suddenly been a problem for this factory in particular, and it hasn't been in the past. I wonder if, like, I was feeding it from multiple dimensional depots and one of them has run out, or if I've just somehow been using... I guess this blueprint does use a lot of Mark II belts. So it could just be that I normally don't use those in blueprints as much. It's probably just that. Alright, so let's fill out this foundation so that all this is resting on something instead of just floating. There we go, that should be good enough. And yeah, reinforced iron plate supply is not doing great at the moment. Although, okay, these belts in the back are using reinforced iron plates, which I think I want these to be Mark III belts, right? Because it's going to be 150 total stators. So I can upgrade these belts and in the process reclaim a bunch of reinforced iron plates that I can use later. Alright, so we've done that. Now we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, so we need 24, 28, 32. We need 3 more blueprints worth. And we have a good couple hundred of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, yes, 3 more blueprints. 1 and a 2. And we're gonna have to get more reinforced iron plates. So let's do that this way again. Oh, these don't need to be Mark 5s. They can be Mark 3s. There we go. Okay, and that's all the upgrading we can do there. But hopefully it'll be enough. There we go. You can just snap that in, and this is all good to go. So now we just upgrade these to Mark 3s. And now we connect the power lines up. And then we have to get the belts in. Alright, power lines go across. And then once they're all connected across, we bring the line down to a pole on the bottom floor. Like so. Alright, so that's all powered. And yeah, power is nowhere near a problem. So we really don't need to check that, like, basically ever. So we need to get wire into these bottom ones and pipes into these top ones. Also, we need to finish off this foundation that we started here, because we built more blueprints since we finished that off. So back you go. We basically only need 3 rows, so let's just do that. Alright, 1 more row. Alright, so that is that. Now, the pipes are going to be easy because they're all on one belt to begin with. The wire is going to be a bit tricky because it's on 2 belts, and I don't know if they're even. I hope they are even. It'd be really nice if these were just 600 each. That's 588, that's 582. Is this not running at 100%? Why are you 96%? Because of a lack of copper, it looks like. I mean, there's more than enough caterium. Alright, let's worry about that in a moment. For now, this is 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 75 times 8 is 600. So we have 2 even belts of wire. That makes that a lot easier. So we just have to make these splitters go down to 2 belts, and then those 2 belts can be fed in from here. Alright, so let's get those splitters in. And gosh, let's see. How fast are these? I'm just going to use Mark 5 belts for everything here. They're definitely not necessary, but it's easier than keeping track of all the weird numbers. So we just get every other, and then we have to put the belts in. Don't miss the splitters. Alright, so then we have that one, we skipped that one, and we have that one. So that, now all of these just get connected up. And then we can do another layer of merging. So there are 4 of these, so we need to bring this down to 2. And then we'll be done. So this goes like that. And in the belts go. This one comes all the way over this way and goes in. Now we get this one and connect them all up. Alright, so we go like that, and like that, and then over here. Like that. Alright, now we just take this belt back over there, and then we get the wire into everything, and then we're done. Wait, that's the wrong output. It's supposed to be this output. Alright, so this goes all the way over this way. And now we just have to feed the wire in, which I guess we can just do like this. And put these belts in and then somehow connect the wire up to that spot down here, which is fortunately not directly on top of anything, although it is somewhat of a near miss. Alright, so this needs to be changed so that it has the right settings. And actually, do we want this to go over or around? I think we want this to go around, actually, so that we don't have anything crossing over when it's not necessary. I personally just do not like elevation changes aside from going between floors. I like individual floors to be relatively two-dimensional. Alright, so this comes around like that. Then this one comes out like that, and we're going to need to set this one as well. Center overflow, left any. And then we just have to get these lined up properly. And in they go. Alright. So wire is attached up. Now we need to figure out what is wrong with the copper input. So the copper input just comes from here. And from here, we have 100% there, and there, and there, and there, and there. Alright, so copper output is 100%, but it isn't all making it somehow. So we have 75 copper, 150 copper, 160 copper ingots. They're all going up here. And there's not going to be belt speed limits, so we have 160 copper ingots, which, can I get unstuck? We go up here, and it goes directly into this without going into anything else. So, how much copper does this need? It needs 10 each, and there's 16 of them, so this should be fine. I don't see what the problem is. I mean, these belts are fast enough. they each need to handle 80, because this is 160. And the copper isn't going anywhere else, is it? It's not going into that. This belt is fast enough. All this main line of belts are fast enough. And yet we have the problem. So, what on earth is going on here? So these ones, I don't know why they have stuff in them, but it's probably just because of how weird they are. Yeah, I think it's just because they produce a bunch all at once and then slowly drain it out. Did I just see... I know what's happening. Okay. So it comes in big bursts. And those bursts can travel at very fast speeds. So when one of those giant bursts happens, when these all happen to output at the same time, so let's say we have 60, 120, 180, 240, and then I guess this one also gets on, so then that makes this temporarily faster than that. Alright, so I think we can fix that by just making sure that that is only a Mark III belt. So now this belt, which is also Mark III, can absolutely handle everything that is being input to it, and we shouldn't get anything just getting rushed through to the sink. Yes, like this. This is what was happening. And so now they just back up a little bit and then filter through eventually, whereas previously they all crashed into the sink. Alright, so that's that problem solved. It's weird how I went, like, most of the way through the game without ever having those problems, and then suddenly they're all constantly happening. Alright, so anyways, this is filling up with wire, so we need to set up the steel pipes. So we need one more row just so that we have space for it. So we run along here, and oh, these presents, they're so distracting. I will deal with them once I'm done with the turbo motor factory. For now, I just want to finish off the project that I'm in the middle of before starting up a new one. Alright, so then all of these go in, and I really hope present doesn't land in the way of anything. Because I kind of wanted to just leave them there for now. Alright. There we go. And one more of these. And there we go. Alright, so that is that. Now we just need to do this another couple times. So we get this one in, and connect it across to the next one over. And then we get this one in, connect it across to the next one over, and then do one more row. And then that'll be that. So this comes along. No, why would you go up. Don't do that. Stay nice and flat on the ground. Thank you. And in. Alright, one more. One more, and actually, I guess it's fine for it to be this one. Because that's actually going to be marginally closer to where the pipes are. So now this goes along. And in. Alright, so now we just have to get all the way back to over there. So step one is going to be getting down onto the logistics floor, which we just go like this, and like that. Then we bring that out, and the belt comes down. Now we just have to bring the logistics floor over to there. So let's run the foundation along and bring the belt across. Alright, just a little bit more and we're going to finish this off working from the other direction. So we're going to get over here to the pipes and bring them up. So this needs a floor hole there. And now it connects in like that. Now we change the settings to center overflow. Right any. And we've got that. Now we just have to connect this belt up with that one and we'll be done with stator production. Alright, how do we get you to line up nicely? There's really not a great way of doing it. Just to do something like that. And the pipes will go in. And this should all be set up and functional. There we go. They're starting up. And the other ones should also all be starting up soon. See, they all have a little bit further to go than that one, which is just the most direct one possible. But that is that. And now we already can see some stators moving along the belts. Alright, so next step is the motors, which we have stators here, we have rotors there. So I think we just put the motor production line in here somewhere. Maybe 37.5. How many is that? It's not even that many. It's probably 37.5 divided by 5. Yeah, so it's going to be 8-ish. Which is hardly any at all. It's probably not worth making a whole new blueprint for, so we're just going to use the existing one. And we're going to build out some space over this way, which is right by where the rotors are and also not in the way of any of the sinks, which poke through the floors. Alright, so we've got that. Now we just grab one of these, and the only thing that's going to be changing is the recipe, and there are only 8 machines, so it's not worth setting up a whole new blueprint for. Let's just make sure we've got enough space on all the various sides. So we get that in. And I guess we're building it facing this way. It's not how I would have done it if I had been paying attention, but it's fine. So now these are all set to motors. And they are 37.5 divided by 8, which is 4.688. 6 times 8 is 37.5. Alright, cool. So, now we just have to get all this stuff in. So we only have 2 of these, which means that the splitting is going to be quite simple. And I believe this is 75 of each, and then the other half of the stators are going into the final turbo motor production. Alright, so let's get that in, facing that way, because I think that's more convenient. So each of these are going to be 37.5, so we only need Mark II belts here. And let's go over here and bring the rotors up. So there we go. Got that, and it is set to center overflow right any. Alright, so we have the motors, or the rotors here. So they come across and please line up nicely like that. Then you just make the turn, go in there, and that will be rotors into this. And let's just power it up real quick. There we go. So now we have the stators, which we need to do the same thing, just get one of those in like that, and connect those across. So now we just have to get the stators belt like around this whole thing. Sort of a roundabout path, but it should be fine. And I didn't put in a sink for the stators, right, because they're just immediately going to the next thing, which I'm building immediately. But there are actually going to be stators going elsewhere, so I am going to need a sink for them. So let's get just back here a smart splitter, and then a sink over this way, which needs a lot of space because they always need a lot of space. And that is going to be center overflow, left any, right any, and then this can also function as the splitter because it's perfectly even between the two. So the right output can be the output to the stators for, I think they just go directly into the turbo motors actually. Can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure that's what they do. Alright, so that goes there. And now we have our motors. And let's make this belt Mark 1 because it's only 37.5. And now let's get that space out. Forgot how giant these are. We need an extra line over there. So now we just send them into that sink. Now we have a couple of sinks over here which need to be powered up, so let's get all of those and just pop them into that. Alright. So that's that. We've got our stators. We've got our motors. Now, I didn't set the settings right. That's the thing that I needed to do that I forgot. I think I set one of them. Yeah, I set this one over here. So now I just need to do the old copy paste. Like so. And now we have motors. And let's get a throughput monitor on that, just so that we can check in the future. Alright, now let's do a quick check of what we have left. Because I think we're pretty close, right? We have motors, we just did those. We have stators, just did those. We have packaged nitrogen gas, we did those ages ago. So it is just the pressure conversion cubes, which I believe is simple, because we're inputting everything from various other places. So we are just going to need some space here, and this is going to be more spacious than the previous stuff we've done, because I believe we do need the drone ports. So let's get that space set up, and it's also, yeah, it's going to need drone ports, so it's going to need to be bigger than usual. Also, would be nice if it were not obstructed like these ones are. And yeah, this is actually the heavy modular frame drone port from a different factory. That's fun. Alright, regardless, we need 2 drone ports. So, I think I put the drone ports on the other side already. Now, where do I want to put these? I want them to be off to the side so that there's at least some hope of us not building over them. So let's have them over here. And transport. Forgot how big these things are. At least they're not train stations. So, we have those 2 guys in there. And they can just get attached up to that random power pole. And this is going to be turbo motor fused frame input. And then we have to... I could have sworn I'd set those up already. Am I blind and just missing it? No, I am not. So I could have sworn I set those up already, but apparently I did not. That's fine. So they're going to get some fuel. And then this is turbo motor. What was the other thing? RCU input. And just confirming that those don't exist. Plus 2 other ports. Well, what are the 2 other ports? Because they might be the ones that I want. Alright, we're going to have to just track down that and figure out what's wrong with them. So, fused frames and radio control units. Those are... Gosh, I am so disoriented right now. I have no idea where they are. Fused frames... Is it this? No, that's supercomputers, I think, because it goes below. This is fused frames, right? Yeah, so this is the fused frames. Conveniently close. Actually, I wonder if they're close enough that I just want to belt it. No, probably not. Alright, so let's set up this drone port, which again, I could have sworn that I did this already. But I guess it's fine, we can do it now. So that gets some space. And a drone port. So then this goes back this way and in there. So this is fused frame source. Alright, so now we power this up. Let's see, where do we have free power lines? Over there. And alright, we need to set this so it's also right any. And then we need to get another drone port here, which lines up there. And this is fused frame fueler, which is going to go to the rocket fuel source and be powered up. Actually, let's just have an extra power line in there somewhere so that we don't run out. And then this, it goes around here, and I guess it can fuel itself as well, although I don't think it needs to. So then we take this, we go up a tick, over that, and then down. So now we put a drone there and give it some starting fuel. And so that will go off and do that. This, meanwhile, is going to be filling up with fused frames and should be all set to go so that we can grab them from the other side and have that all set up. So now we need to find radio control units, do the same thing, except that I don't know where they are and I don't think they're especially close. I'm going to guess, well, I'm going to make a pretty safe guess that they're over this way. But once we get to the main intersection, I'm going to be completely clueless about where they are. So we're just going to have to go exploring for a bit. Alright, radio control units. I hope they're not too far. If they're like super far over that way, then I'm just never going to find them. But I think they're on this line here. Although I honestly could not tell you for certain. I think it's that big one off on the left. If I had to guess, it would be that one. But we're going to have to get over there and see. It's got lots of big machines, which is always a good sign. Looks like manufacturers up at the top, which I believe would be radio control units. Alright, almost there. Almost there. It's got fluid pipes of some kind. Okay, we're getting in range of the train signals. And yes, I was correct. These are indeed our RCUs. So let's fly up here and get this set up. So, is this working? Yep, looking like 100%. Alright, so now we just need to get it out of here and onto a drone port. So, let's get the physical space in. The drone port can be over this way. And then it goes in like this. And we need two. So we're going to set them up like that. Alright, so this is the fueler, and it can go there. So you are RCU fueler. And let's just power all of those up. Like so. And this is not drone port 19, it is RCU source. Alright, so you get a drone, and you get a destination, which is the rocket fuel source. And then you get some fuel. And speaking of rocket fuel, I'm going to need a new stack. Alright, now we go over here. And we need to actually just put in a splitter in here, which is right any center overflow, so that we can take the RCUs, feed them into there first and foremost, and then if we have spares, then they go this way. We have enough built up that, like, even if this takes ages to backfill until the point where that's filling again, we should be fine. We also are producing, again, a decent amount of these since we're doing mega scale stuff. So it won't be as bad as it was in some of our previous saves where this would have taken like a billion years running off of like one of these. Alright, so that's the RCU source, and it has radio control units in it as of now. So now we can head right back over to where we were, which is back over this way, and then just set up those systems over there to grab from drones, which head over here. Alright, so we just have to get down here to the trains, and off we go, heading west. So we just got to do a bit of slide jumping, and eventually we will get there. It might be marginally faster to respawn, but let's just slide jump along. Alright, past the portion where I broke some stuff by changing it around. Those signals are supposed to be giving errors. That's perfectly fine. Right, almost there. So this is the point where we would have been if we had respawned. Let's get on this train, because it's temporarily heading in the right direction. Alright, now we are going to get off the train because it is no longer heading in the right direction. So now we just make our way on over. And here we are. We can just get up here into the factory. So now we just have to set up these drone ports over here to take from those drone ports that I just built, and it'll all be set up and ready to go. Drone ports are very convenient. I'm a big fan. Alright, so this is turbo motor RCU import. So, you go to RCU source. This is turbo motor fuse frame input. So you go to fuse frame source. Now you both, not drone port, you both get drones. And there should be fuel on the other side to get these guys coming back. So that is that. Now we just need to make the pressure conversion cubes, which is just going to be a row of 10 assemblers. Or we could do 12. We can do 12 so that we can use our blueprint to make it faster. So let's do that. Let's get all this. And we're going to need a whole bunch of space. Because everything takes up a whole bunch of space. Alright, now we go here. We get this blueprint. And we place it in like this. And we go a 1. And a 2. And let's actually get this nice and centered. So that's 3. Alright, now we need a floor down here. So that goes across. And alright. So now we just have to get these into those, which should be quite easy. So this goes along like that, and I'm pretty sure these all are going to need to be Mark 1 belts only. So we are not exactly using thousands of these inputs. Is that a drone coming back already? It is. I wonder if it actually got anything. Alright. Gotta make sure to click correctly so that it snaps to that. Alright. So now we just have to get these set up. So you can go into there. And then we need the other one to go up a level, which we need to just shift over there a bit so that it doesn't intersect at all. There we go. Then this comes down, and off we go. And we do have a good couple stacks of fuse trains. Cool, so now we just have to set these. Pressure conversion cubes. 0.938, coincidentally the correct ratio. 9.38 divided by 12. 0.782. I don't know why we need that many pressure conversion cubes. Seems like a weird amount, but then what do I know? So we paste all those across. And in go the fused modular frames. So why is that the number that we need? So it is 1 to 2 and 3.75, right, but we're doing it based off of this, so that's why the numbers are all weird. Got it. Alright. So, RCUs, check. Fused frames, check. Now let's get these guys powered up and find somewhere to connect them back to, like that one. Alright, now these first ones might already be going. Yes, they are. Cool. So now we just have to get all of these set up and give them a sink to output to and a splitter so that they can output to something other than that sink. Alright, sink, smart splitter, belt. Alright, power on the sink. And that's pressure conversion cubes all good to go. Put the throughput monitor in. This is going to take ages. It's what, 76.8 seconds for it to finish even one of them. So the first couple are almost done. So we're going to see some come out of here and then trickle out of the rest of them soon. There we go. There is one pressure conversion cube. And off it goes. Alright. So that should be enough. Hopefully when I did the math on the fused frames and the RCUs, I was correct, and we do have enough of them. Now they're going to be coming in bursts and just filling up these backlogs, but hopefully they'll last long enough. Alright, so pressure conversion cubes, check. And I believe that's everything, right? So we have this. And we're making 18.75 of them, which 1.875 is actually just exactly 50% of this. So we need just 5 manufacturers, each with 4 inputs. I'm going to have to find the nitrogen gas, which has been a while since we made that. But we should be just about done. So let's get that set up then. So we're going to need, I think we made a blueprint for computers at some point that has the correct number of floors. So let's just expand off into this area for this, because it's relatively clear. And we don't need that much ground space. I mean, this should probably be almost enough. Alright. So if I remember correctly, I had a computer blueprint, or maybe, yes, the supercomputer blueprint, actually, which does this correctly. Now it's 2. So I guess we'll go 6, and then just underclock them slightly, as we frequently end up doing. Alright, let's just pop these in and then figure out how to get them all fed. 2, 4, 6. This is the final production line of our factory. So now we just have to power these on, which can go like that. Just put an extra power line in there for when that one that we've been using fills up. Okay, what has happened here? Alright, so I need to just put recipes in, which is fine because the recipes that were already in here were wrong anyways. So these are turbo pressure motors. And it is 18.75 divided by 6, which is 3.125. So we paste the settings, get all these converted over, and now we just have to get the inputs into the belts. And are any of these inputs especially fast? Packaged nitrogen gas is going to be the only one that's like notably quick. The rest of them will all be... Let's see, stators should be exactly... No, stators should be more than a belt, right? 12.5 times 6 is 75. So stators and packaged nitrogen gas are more than a belt. Motors and pressure conversion cubes are less than a Mark 1 belt. Alright, so that's fine. The first thing we need to do is get this foundation across and then build in the, what's it called? Blanking on the word. We need to build in the splitters so that we can get stuff to all of these, and then we just have to bring them back, and we will be done with turbo motors. Alright, so we have our 1 to 3 splitters, which goes like this, and into there, there, and there. Then we go up a level, and we've got this, which goes there, there, and there. Now we have to go around and do the other side. So that goes in like that, that, and that, and then down to this level for the last one, which go in there, there, and there. Alright, so those are all attached up. Now, we just need to make sure the packaged nitrogen gas is faster, so we need 225 of that. 225 divided by 3 is 75. So whichever one the packaged nitrogen gas goes into is going to have to be sped up a little bit at first, but only the outer row. The inner row will still be fine, of course. And then there's also all of this stuff to do before we even get to that. So, left, any. We need floor here so that we can put belts on it. So this comes along like this. We can actually just snap it into that and into that. Alright, so that is pressure conversion cubes set up. Nice and easy. So the next one, we are going to get over here and find our motors, which are, no, these are stators, which we need anyways, so Yeah, stators and motors are both here. I remember that. So we're going to have to head over here. And, okay, we were doing something with that, but we don't need to anymore. We can just get a splitter on here. Like that. So that will get half of the stators. And carry them over this way. And it needs to be a Mark II belt, I believe, because it's going to be 75. So that's going to go over there. Let's also grab the motors while we're here. So this is center overflow, left any, and it's only 37.5 motors. So we can make do with Mark I belts for this one. And off you go. So these come over here. And actually, I just want to have the motors meet up with the stators so that I can drag them more efficiently together. Over here we go. And then this can turn this way. And now we both go forwards. Mark I belt and a Mark II belt. I have to go around the drone ports and around that present. So these just curve over this way and curve over this way. And we keep on going. So we are almost there. Just have to get along this. So these go there. Forwards a little bit more. And now we just have to worry about actually getting them into inputs, which one can be on this floor, the next can be on the floor above. So these can just go in like this, forwards a little bit, and in. Then these ones go up a floor, and then do the same. So that goes in. And then we grab that. Alright, just gotta set this up. There we go. Bring the belt over. And then pop it in. Alright, so that is stators. Check. Motors are moving a lot slower, obviously, because of the Mark I belt. But they'll make it here eventually. Yeah, I don't normally do long-distance Mark I belts. I forgot how slow these things are, but it's almost more satisfying for them to be moving very slowly over long distances. I don't know why it's more satisfying. I couldn't explain it to you, but I feel like it is. Alright, so these, they have been getting pressure conversion cubes. The stators are about to hit any second now. And yeah, they are starting to show up. Motors will take a bit longer, and then it's just the packaged nitrogen. So that's going to be this one over here. So these belts need to be Mark II in preparation for it. Put those in. And then we need to get all the way down to, like, gosh, where even was that? Down here. Is it you? No, you're something different. Oh, it's this, isn't it? can see the pipes. Yes, so here we have our packaged nitrogen going in there. So I guess we're just going to start off by just sending these up a floor and hoping that it works. So it would be really convenient if there just wasn't anything there. And we can just go up without running into anything. Yeah, we barely managed to dodge another belt. Let's get rid of that random conveyor pole that doesn't need to exist. Okay. So we need to get further up. We get quite a bit further up. No, I've lost it. Where is it? It's right here. All right. So if you go up there, you manage to continue dodging. Sure, let's do that. Let's just go up here as far as we can until we have to stop. All right, so that then goes there. And then up there. And we barely looks like we barely dodged that belt, which is fine. And now we are basically in the clear. We've got sky above us. We just need to head over that way. So we need to go up one more floor. So let's bring the foundation over for that. And it's just got to be something like that. Then the floor hole goes in there. And the belt comes up. So now this goes over. And we're going to have to hop over this. So we go up one, over one, over another, and then down. And now we should be just about in the clear. Head over this way and snap it in. Alright, so that is the last ingredient. So, assuming everything works out properly, the motors have even started to show up while we were doing all that. So now we have this belt, and we just need to set up our output stuff. So we need a sink and a dimensional depot. So let's get the foundations and a splitter like that. So the sink can just go there. Where is this in? Organization. Logistics storage container goes there. Connect everything up. You go in there. Then this is left any, center overflow, and dimensional depot. Alright, so that's that, and we see one of these has turned green, and the rest of them are following. Means we are successfully producing turbo motors. This one just has to get the nitrogen gas through, which is a bit of a process, but it's starting up. And these ones which started first are now outputting. We have turbo motors on belts. You'll love to see it. Alright, so the turbo motors are just going across. And this one is output 1. And then I don't know why it didn't immediately start up there. I guess nitrogen gas shortage somehow. Alright. Oof. That drone almost killed me. I don't actually know. I assume getting hit by a drone is bad for your health. It's never happened. And yeah, turbo motors are officially heading into the dimensional depot. We've got 4 in there. And that number is going to be increasing pretty quickly. 18.75 a minute is not small for something like this. And all of these are showing 98%. So we're going to need to figure out why, and I think it's the nitrogen. I'm fairly confident it's the nitrogen, but I don't know why. In the meantime, these are going along. We have plenty of fused frames in backlog that lasts quite a while. And we have more getting input. Alright, so this definitely has enough nitrogen to start up again. And it does start up again. So I think it's probably working. Alright, now this is not that many fused frames that just got delivered. Now we can just pop over there and figure out what's going on, right? Because it's pretty close. Nah, it's actually further. It's probably fine, though. I mean, we're not expecting huge numbers of fused frames a minute. We're expecting, like, what, 9-ish? Yeah, we're expecting 9.38 fused frames a minute. So that's the same as the pressure conversion cubes we're making. Alright, I mean, this seems to all be working. I don't see any yellow lights. So I think this might be more or less done. Now, are those yellow lights over there? Yes. So whatever this factory is, it's having problems, I think. So let's fly over there and see. It also very much could just be a question of the lighting. And I think it is. Now I'm getting closer, those look green. Yeah. Alright, we're just going to confirm that they're 100% green and that they weren't, like, stopped briefly and just turned on again. Yep, 100%. Cool. Alright, no issues there. We're just going to head back and see if these machines over here are all going. Seeing a lot of green there for the heavy modular frames. And a lot of green over here for the turbo motors. Alright, this is a very complicated factory. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some problem somewhere. Especially with these still showing 98%. Maybe the ones that started sooner will show 100% sooner. Alright, let's see here. Is this going to get up to 48? It does. And it is showing 100%. And that drone goes right past. It's a bit reckless of those drones. I guess if it's safe, that they can do that. Right, yeah, I see 100% everywhere. We're up to 74 in the dimensional depot. So I think we have done it. Now let's just hang out a little bit longer, but I think we're going to start up Fixmas now. So we've got all these presents lying around, and let's grab one and see what happens. It has been quite... I don't think I've ever actually done Fixmas. I think last year I was busy with other stuff, so I ignored it. Let's pick that up.
Congratulations. You have found your first Fixmas gift package, which is, naturally, full of gifts, the basic part necessary for most Fixmas seasonal event activities. Don't forget to check the calendar or the MAM to see what you can do with these gifts. Or do forget, I don't care.
Alright, let's check the MAM then. Pop that in. Fixmas holiday event. Unlock this research tree to access the node. Well, that's a bit vague. Alright, let's go back to the hub to see... What do we have to do here? Oh, look at all the cute little Fixmas decorations. That's fun. Is it just me, or was I running slightly quickly there for a second? Alright, so we have technically unlocked everything. If we hadn't done manual crafting, this would be the point where we unlock turbo motors. But I wanted the pressure conversion cubes for the alt recipe, so we've done that already. Here's the calendar.
Welcome to Fixmas, an official Fix-It seasonal event, brought to you by official Fix-It Fun engineers. Fixmas is based on a seasonal holiday popular in several cultures and religions, often seen as a winter holiday because no one actually cares about Australasia. The event is vetted to be 100% pioneer-appropriate fun and is not obligatory. Fixmas enables many new distracting activities focused on building the giant Fixmas tree. These activities involve the MAM, the Fixmas calendar, and those abominations falling from the sky. There is more, but I don't care. In the interest of us all, I will tell you that Fixmas has caused stress, lack of focus, general despair, and physical injury to many pioneers. I
feel like Ada is trying to convince me not to do this event.
It is the worst scoring event ever created by Fix-It, and has gotten backlash for its blatant cultural inappropriateness. So when you inevitably change your mind and decide to disable this event, you will have chosen humanity and kittens and puppies, you will have chosen truth and empathy, you will have made me proud.
Yeah, okay, sure. We're gonna do the event. So now if I check the MAM, has it unlocked? No. So what do I have to do? Can I click on anything in here? Alright, there are all these numbers around. It is... Aha! It is the first, so we've clicked on that.
This data cartridge contains the Fixmas MAM tree setup and will need to be fed into the MAM database to unlock its first 2 branches. If this seems convoluted and/or boring, and you wish to quit the event, I will understand.
Alright, so we have that. Then we go here, and we click on that, click Start Research. Fixmas tree base completed. Success.
The purpose of Fixmas is to build and decorate a giant Fixmas tree with style. The Fixmas category has been added to your build menu. Gifts are the basic resource from which many other festive parts are made. Like Fixmas branches, which can be crafted in the constructor. In an effort to make this event meet the bare minimum efficiency quotas, I have disabled the ability to craft these resources by hand. Trust me, that glitter got everywhere. You're welcome.
So, we need to... This is all very confusing. I haven't done this before, and I have no idea what I'm looking at here. But we have this. Giant Fixmas tree needs 100 of tree branches, which are made in constructors from gifts. Alright, so I guess that's step 1. Right, so if we get the fluff, the tree branches, we can make candy canes. And if we have candy canes, then we can get bows. If we have bows, then we can get ornaments. Alright. So, we figured it out. So step 1, just run around and collect a bunch of these. Actually, actual step 1 is get a constructor set up. And I guess we'll summer sloop it. Just because might as well. Alright, so that's 10 per minute in, 20 per minute out. Let's make that go super fast, because we can. And then we'll run around grabbing some more of these, which seem to just be lying around everywhere.
Somewhere.
Alright. Then we grab this one, which is sitting... That's probably a hazard somehow.
Not worth the effort.
Alright. So far, every gift I've picked up has given me more than the last. I don't know if that's a coincidence, or if they're just different kinds of gifts. But we are definitely making some tree branches. I hope you don't have to run around manually grabbing these things every single time. That would be mildly annoying. Alright, I've forgotten. I think you need 50 of these to do something. I can't remember what. You need 100 to make the tree. I think it was 50 to, like, unlock something in the man. Yes. So we can unlock candy canes.
Candy canes are used to create several items. In this case, when combined with the Xeno Zapper, you will gain a piece of equipment perfect for use against anyone on my naughty list. Like whoever
Alright.
hard-coded and black-boxed this event.
That's handy. Let's get another one of these in. And candy canes also use gifts. Okay, let's upgrade that power line and put another one in. So, we are going to need more gifts, because I want to have a whole bunch of branches so that we don't run out. So where are more gifts? Oh, I see a sparkly thing over here. Nice that you can just see them in the sky, I guess. Alright, here we go. Let's see if this one provides more than the last. No, this one only provides a measly 20. Alright, so it looks like there are just different tiers of gifts that you can grab. That's fine. We're figuring this out. So you go in there and give us some candy canes. And those get stored in the box. Meanwhile, we have enough of these now that we can actually make the tree. So the tree can go, I guess, over here by this radar pole. So let's expand some space. I don't know how big this is going to be. Pretty big, but not huge. Alright. In you go. Fixmas tree assembled. So, the next thing we need to unlock is we need 10 candy canes to unlock bows. And then probably we're going to need even more gifts to unlock even more stuff with them. Alright, we managed to get 11. 11 candy canes. So, let's go over here and click on that.
Fixmas bows can be crafted from gifts in the constructor and can be combined with candy canes to make the candy cane decoration.
Alright.
Unfortunately for us both, this is only the first of several decorations, and you have been encouraged to spend your time and effort on these precision-engineered fleeting moments of joy.
Alright, so the next thing requires day 4, which it isn't day 4, it's currently day 1. Because it happens to be the first, so I imagine you can't skip ahead, right? Like if I find... Where's the 2 on this whole thing? Yeah, so if I click on that, we don't get anywhere. So we're just gonna have to... I'm just gonna have to leave that for next time. In the meantime, though, let's grab those out of there and make some bows instead. And if we can grab even more so that we can get more candy canes so that we can make the decorations, that would be cool. Here's a gift over here. Let's pick that up. Just another 20. But should be enough to get us a decent chunk of candy canes at least. There we go. Those go in there. Now we have bows. And so this is just a decoration. So we need 10 candy canes and 1 bow. So we're going to have a lot more bows than we really need. Not quite as many candy canes as I would like to do more than a couple of these. Alright, so now we have all that. We can pop one of these in. Success. We've done it. We've done apparently everything there is to do on Fixmas Day 1. Now, I guess the next time I'm back will be day 3. So that hopefully will get us some more progress here. I don't exactly know like how complicated this is gonna get. Like there's a big tree-shaped tree here. See the mam tree is shaped like a Christmas tree, which is a nice touch. But I don't know if we're gonna be doing like complicated automation stuff or if it's just gonna be basic stuff like this the whole way through. But we'll see, and we'll just keep collecting gifts so that we can use them. Alright, let's head back to the turbo motors and see what... If those are still running, because we've given them a second, so if there is something wrong with that, it should have showed up by now. Hopefully, unless it's very, very sneaky. Alright. Just from this angle, I see a whole lot of green lights and not a whole lot of yellow lights, which is always good. Alright, still no signs of anything wrong. About this floor all looks fine. The heavy modular frames across the way look like they're having problems. So I guess we'll fix that. That floor looks fine. Here's a gift. Yoink.
This is ridiculous.
Yes, thank you, Ada. It is somewhat silly. Alright, no. We do see yellow lights up here. So, something has broken. What is it? The pressure conversion cubes. So everything else is saturated, whereas these have run out. Which is a bit confusing. I mean, looking at all of these, they all look like they're going at 100% without much difficulty. I mean, they have significant backlogs, too. And this is showing... Oh, I set this up wrong. I forgot to have that set to overflow, so half of it was just getting sunk. So yeah, that would do it. And as that would imply, these are all hovering around 50%. That's annoying. But that's why we check these things. And with that solved, this should get back to functional eventually. It's on slow Mark 1 belts, so it'll take a little bit. But if that's the only problem, then we should be good to go. Now the issue is that now that will have caused these to get overfilled, and that will conceal other problems elsewhere in the factory. So let's solve that by just manually emptying all of these, so that if there is a shortage of one of them, it'll make itself known very quickly. And then we can just dump all this stuff away. We do not need that or that or that. Alright. So that is problem solved. These should be getting the full speed pressure conversion cubes soon. It looks like here they don't exist, and then back here they are normal. So it'll be a little bit before they regulate out. And we might have to re-empty these one more time, just because there was some accumulation on the belts as well as in the machines. Hey, look, a gift. Oh, it's falling way out of power range. I'm not going to bother grabbing that. We're just going to mind our business over here in the factory and grab this gift instead. Alright, over here we go. Grab it out of the sky and get 20 more presents. It's not that many, but it's something at least. And with all the summer sloops and everything, it'll go a pretty long ways. Alright, so this is still warming up. It is taking forever. This is showing 8. That's just because it's kind of bursty. Nothing to worry about there. See, these are starting to fill up again. But we should be almost at the point where these have the pressure conversion cubes to run. In fact, it probably is at this point up to 100% functional. And let's see here. Are you about to get one? Yes, you got one just there. Which is a bit early, but that's fine. Not going to complain about it being ever so slightly off sync. Alright, so now we just go through here and we grab all of those out. And now it'll be nice and fragile, which is the best way for it to be in order for you to tell whether there's problems or not. Did I miss that? I did. Alright. So that's that. I imagine this will be full and this will be filling. Yes, we have a good solid amount of turbo motors, more than we can ever need. And that is a good sign. So let's just clear that stuff out again. And while we're at it, we've got some random ore in the inventory, which we're never going to need. Got some ingots that we can clear out. I mean, realistically, we need very little in our inventory. It can be nice to just have some spares of various things, just in case we happen to use a bunch of them. But our inventory can basically be mostly empty. Alright, so now this is just waiting for the nitrogen gas, which I drained, to fill back up. And they're starting up again and should be good to go round the clock now. I don't think there are any other issues. I would have caught them earlier. The only potential issues would be like if the inputs aren't enough. So these are incoming 24 a minute and 15 a minute. And we need, I think, like 10-ish a minute and like 20-ish a minute. So that should be more than enough. Eventually. It'll take a long time, but this will eventually backlog and stop running constantly. In the meantime, let's check what on earth is going on with this factory. This factory is clearly not having a good time. So we're showing a shortage of encased industrial beams there. I feel like this is just the same problem that this factory has been having this entire time. But sure, let's fix it. How many is this supposed to be? How many are you supposed to be? 8.33 per minute times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0.333 times 8 should be 66.6 repeating. And I assume that these are all equal. Yes. So this belt, I think it adds up to some production over here. So these two are 6.6 repeating. So that's fine, and then this belt should then be carrying 60 exactly. I've upgraded it to probably Mark IV so that it can make improvements quickly. But yeah, I do see yellow lights over here. Short on steel pipes. Alright, yeah, this... I could have sworn I fixed this issue like 10 times. So, which one of you is not producing? Those ones are doing fine, which means it is this batch over here which is having problems. And if there were any problems in this system, it would be down on this side. Yes, we have a 75%er over here. So that is purely because we don't have enough steel. So let's follow this line back. And alright, this looks like a saturated belt. Is it supposed to be saturated? So each of these is 60. That's 120, 180, 240, 300, 360, 480, 540? Alright, so if that's 540, is this... that's Mark IV. I think I see the problem. Unless there's some other... unless I've done this math wrong, this is 30. That's 60, 120, 180, 240, 300. 360. No. Did I do the math wrong? I think I did. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 60. It should be exactly 480. So in principle, it should be enough. This belt should, in theory, be sufficient. So, 100, 120. This one is not running because of a lack of iron. Same as this one. So that's the problem. That is the problem. Why are you not getting enough iron then? Trace this back. Oh, I'm doing complicated stuff over here. Okay. Let's grab that gift real quick.
A baby could have found this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly hidden. Didn't know we were trying to be hide and seek. Alright, so the problem is, I think, that this isn't outputting enough over that way. So if it's outputting more this way, then we should see that, yes, this one is getting deprioritized. But how is that possible when it's set to a higher priority? So, okay, it must be... So that one is also locked a little bit. Okay, so the problem is that there's just too much stuff getting sent over this way. Not enough stuff getting sent over this way. So I think the way we have to solve this is we just have to change the clocking of the machines so that we don't have this split. Because that is the source of the problem. So let's just check. How much needs to be over here? This is a Mark II belt, so that's 120, 240. Is that all? 240, this going this way. Yeah, so we have 240 over here. So we just need to make that exactly how much these give. 55.714 times 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4. 0.714 times 4 is 222 point something. Alright, then this one has to add on additional chunk onto that in order to get it up to 240. Now currently we're trying to do it by sending overflow that way, by sending as much that way as possible, and then any spares go that way. But I think that's actually wrong. I think the way we do this is we reverse that. So that's left any right overflow. So now as much as possible will go this way. And it is limited to exactly 240, right? So we need to make that a priority merger and go priority to anywhere but this one. And I have a suspicion that this still isn't going to work. But that is just a suspicion, so maybe it'll be fine. So I think the problem might be still that it's too burst, like it goes too fast. So if this is exactly 240, now we have it limited so that it can only be exactly 240 speed on the belt. So that is fine. Although I wonder if now making that a slower belt probably won't solve the issue. It might just push it around a bit. So with getting more than it can use, this belt will fill up. And then once it fills up, we should have... Okay, wait, these are all outputting on a Mark 1. Let's do that. So now, the stuff from over here should be relatively steady, because it's almost but not quite the maximum output, so it should be steady, which should... Yeah, okay, cool. Goodbye. So this supply being steady should mean that the amount of extra stuff that has to go here is steady. And I assume that this is speed balanced or something. Yeah, so this is speed balanced, which means that we can't just... which is why these numbers are so wonky. It would be nice if they weren't like that and we could just do a whole speed throttling setup and then it would be fine. But I think this should be okay, because we're going to be sending 240 over there, including as little as this as is necessary because of these merger settings. And then all the extra will go over there. So we might have just pushed the iron ingot shortage over to this side, but we also might have solved it. So hopefully we solved it. So that is going. And the unfortunate thing is that this is going to take quite a while to propagate through. So we're going to have to just leave it and come back and probably fix the same problem again later, because it's quite likely that this hasn't worked. I think it has, but it's like, you know, so it's like a 50-50. So we can see here that this is... okay, this is pretty much saturated. And I wonder if making this one slower as well will also solve the problem. So now all of these are outputting at a steady rate with just like occasional brief gaps. Okay, so yeah, this is now also backing up, I think, which is a good sign. Because it should, if it's going to be stable, do that. Now, I'm not sure if this is being able to output everything that it needs to. Let's see here. No, so this is going to get backlogged and stuck. So I think we need to set you to medium. So now you can output as much as you want. And then maybe these ones will get backlogged and stuck. But who knows? In the meantime, this should be outputting like 4-ish a minute more than it's producing. So it should drain. This whole system is very complicated and messy. I would never design something like this nowadays, but this is what you get when you are learning how to do a style of building on the fly. Alright, so this... I can't even tell if this is successfully draining or not. And it doesn't look like it's stopping at all, which is good. We don't want that. Okay, I feel like it is. I feel like it got down to 2 there, whereas previously it had been much higher. Alright. Let's just say that this is working. So this is outputting... this is outputting fully. These don't look like they're backing up any. I mean, there's plenty of room on these belts. And this is backed up this way and sending plenty over that way. So hopefully hopefully we have finally solved that problem. Alright, let's pop back over to... where were we? It was like completely overhanging this. Yeah, let's head back over to the turbo motors just to do another check on them. There's another Fixmas gifts.
Just get back to work.
I am working. I'm just grabbing this stuff off of the floor of the factory as I go. I spent 0 extra seconds picking those gifts up. Okay, maybe like half of an extra second. Ooh, here's one. Did go a little bit out of my way for this one. There's another 20. And once we have more stuff to do with them, then we should have enough supply. So these are showing 100% now. That is fantastic. And it looks like we have a small but healthy buffer of everything. And I need to... it's a good thing I checked that. I need to power the sink on. That is important. Alright, so that sink is powered on. Now, let's just continue zipping around the factory, picking up Fixmas gifts, and looking for yellow lights or anything suspicious. There's another 20.
Yes, well done.
Ada is not happy about that, but again, I'm just doing this while I'm scanning the factory for lacking productivity anyways. Alright, I'm pretty confident that is all good. So let's head over to this, which is, I believe, the supercomputer factory. Just because it happens to be right here, and it also happens to be relatively recent. So it can also get a quick checkup. 100%. Ooh, this one's only 99%. That's no good. Can't have that. Looks like high-speed connectors are a problem for some reason. So how many high-speed connectors are there supposed to be? 5.625 per machine, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 56.25 high-speed connectors should all fit on a belt. Alright, we do have these going through. And we do have the occasional gap, which is unsurprising since it's slightly less than a full belt. But it also means that this isn't backed up in any way. So every high-speed connector that exists is getting sent through. Alright, so next thing to check. This isn't like weirdly unbalanced, right? Okay, it's up to 100% again, so maybe it might just be that the calculation was incorrect. No, but this one's down to 98%. Also because of high-speed connector shortages. But that one has 19 high-speed connectors and 11 high-speed connectors and 50 high-speed connectors. Alright, so there is definitely a problem here. Because they should be evenly distributed. There should be, theoretically, no difference between the amounts of high-speed connectors in each thing. But clearly there are. So is this trusty old 1 to 5 splitter not working? Okay. I bet I know. Maybe? Maybe? Hang on. Okay, let's just get throughput monitors on each of these. And they should all show exactly the same number, because it's perfectly evenly distributed. And there's going to be some oscillation, of course. It's not going to be easy to tell. but it looks like these... Let's actually see if it corresponds exactly to belts. So, these ones are low, and then as soon as you get over to this one, it jumps up to a much higher number. And that is the first one in this batch. Alright, so I think that's basically confirmed. Like, these machines over here are somehow getting more high-speed connectors. Which is extremely worrying, because this is just the same 1 to 5 blueprint that I've been using absolutely everywhere. Is it not looping back correctly? No, that looks right. Alright, have these determined any differences? No, they all look the same. Okay, so the alternative is that there... So aside from this being an uneven split, which it absolutely is not, like, these numbers are all showing 11s across the board. So if it isn't an uneven split, then it is just that we had... Right, I know what happened. Alright, so this explains everything, including why this one over here has more than these ones. So, at some point in the past, we had a backlog of high-speed connectors, which filled up the belts and saturated them. Then, at some point, we started having shortages, so the amount of high-speed connectors gradually decreased. Now, as it was decreasing, these longer belts physically had more high-speed connectors on them, which meant that it took longer for these to drain than those ones, to the extent that they haven't finished yet, whereas these ones have. And I believe that would explain it. So that had the most, which is why there were more there. This had a lot, but not quite as much. And then each of these was lesser and lesser. So yes, there is indeed an actual shortage of high-speed connectors, which caused that to happen. So let's drop down to the next floor and see what's going on with these guys. So it looks like we've got multiple rows of production, which is fine. 100% along this row. Circuit boards are a little bit sketchy. Quickwire is a little bit sketchy, but it's just going to be like that. Alright, so that row is 100%. This row is 97% because of quickwire. Alright. So, you're all having the same quickwire shortage. Are these guys back here also having that? Yes, and okay, wait. Yes, and in some of the machines it's even worse. That's weird that we had one machine at 90-some% and the rest of them are fine. Oh, I see. That's because of how this is split. This one here gets sort of higher dibs on a supply of quickwire. Okay. So, I guess we need to trace this back. So this one is the one that's short. So in this row, this one doesn't have enough quickwire, and all the rest of them do. Which means that this belt is partially the cause of the problem. So we just have to follow this belt back, see if there are any problems here. So that is left overflow, so it's fine to be occasional gaps. Alright, we just need to check the quick wire production and see if there's a shortage in that before we try to do the very, very complicated work of figuring out if there's a distribution problem, which I don't think there is, just based on the fact that they all seemed to be approximately the same low. Like, some of them were better than others, but none of them were overfilled. Alright, quick wire. 100% there. And we just have to check various spots along this row. A whole lot of 100% on that one. This one has 100%, and let's see, this is a splitter array, so there shouldn't be meaningful differences within the row. It's not a speed balancer where like the one on the end might be empty, but the rest of them are fine. Alright, so if all of these are at 100%, then that means it is indeed a balancer problem, and let's grab more presents while we're here.
Do we need that?
Ada is very unhappy with that, but there we go. Grab even more. They stacked to 200. That's plenty. Alright, so what is happening, if we're producing enough quick wire and it isn't arriving at its destination, then what's happening is that some of it is getting sunk. Or we've done the math wrong and we aren't producing enough quick wire to begin with, but I would imagine that it must be that some of it is getting sunk. Yes, I just saw one go into a sink here. Now, what caused that to even happen? Alright. It's very, very difficult to tell. But if we just put throughput monitors on all of these sinks, that'll help us so we don't have to catch it in like the absolute split second where it's traveling through. We have a bit more time to see that any of these numbers are non-zero. And this one actually is showing some. So, the problem is that the quick wire is getting sunk, which means it must be getting backed up somewhere. And, I mean, this is the sort of place where that would happen, right? Like, very easily. So this one is also occasionally sending some through. So it is going center any right overflow. So it's sending enough to fill up this line, then the rest is going over here. And yeah, we can definitely see that there is tons going through to that sink. Alright, so how about the throughput monitors here? These should all be full belts, right? Oh, I already had throughput monitors on these. Whoops. Alright, that's fine though. Having a couple extras is not going to break the game. Alright, so what's happening is that these come out in bursts. Occasionally those bursts are sending too much into each thing, and then the extra is getting sent down there. But then that means that there isn't enough in this system to keep these stable. Alright, so how do we resolve that problem? I mean, we could just take the sinks out and it would probably work, but I like having the sinks just to make sure that, you know, so that if something in the future breaks, this keeps running steadily. So I've found that that is pretty important to keeping stable production. Alright, so this one on the right is slow. It's supposed to be slow, though, so that's fine. How do we fix this? I mean, we could just... If we squeeze boxes in here, then it might fix the problem. So if we just have a box here, then the sink won't start being used until, like, there'll be a massive backlog in this. How big is a box in terms of, like, space? We should be able to get boxes on most or all of these. I don't even know if that's, like, what we want. I don't even know if that'll fix it, but it very well could. Now, but I don't think it will, though. I think it'll just delay the problem. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 belts, condense them into like 4 1/4 belts, and more like 4 1/2 really, because this is actually pretty quick. Okay, here's something. This setup here is right overflow. This is getting half. Alright, no. So I think that is supposed to be saturated like that. I don't think that that's the problem. Yeah, so occasionally the sinking happens and it sends... It means that there isn't as much in here once that backlog disappears and it's expecting to have produced more. I think the boxes will work. I'm just gonna try that. So it's gonna be a bit annoying to set them all up. So you go in like that. And then we get another one, which is going to be a bit cramped. This whole system is going to be a bit cramped. Alright, see that is, I mean, we're going to have all sorts of problems fitting these in, because it was definitely not designed for them. But I think we're just going to have to deal with that. That's too steep. I wonder if we can lift it down. We can. And then send you into there. Alright, so this one is floating like 29-ish quick wire. This one isn't doing any. This one occasionally has one, but is mostly not doing any. So we need to fit another box into here. And each one of these is just like compounding the space problem, making it harder for the next one. But I think that can go in like that. like that. So now this is going to be floating like 20 quick wire. Alright, now these two are coming from all the way over here, so we can use some of that space. Alright, so that goes in. And... oh, don't take out a random power line. That could be catastrophic. I was trying to dismantle the thing, the belt beneath it, and almost destroyed the world. Alright, then this one, we can just fit it into this space, I guess. So let's see, that is going to have to go like there, and then down. And then this is going to have to come up and over. Alright, so that is a box connected to every one of these inputs. And yeah, I don't actually expect these to fill up much, but I do expect them to just keep the outputs steady. Oh, I just saw a blip there. So if those boxes keep anything from ever having to go into these sinks, then that's a win. This is still registering that, but that was from a while ago. Now that's down to 0. And this box, yeah, so occasionally this box gets a little bit in it, which is a pretty good sign that it's necessary. So this, ooh, big sudden lighting shift there. Thank you, very cool. So this is still floating around the mid-40s. And I wonder if we just fill all of these up with just a little bit of quick wire. That one already has some in it. That one already has some in it. As does this one. Alright, so this one I filled up with a little bit of quick wire and it immediately emptied. So, oh, so this is left any with low priority, right any with medium priority. So I guess this, right, so this is the last one into this belt, which means it's always going to have plenty of stuff to output to. And actually, is it just... it might just be a resource shortage. Let's follow this belt back, because I don't know why this belt in particular is functioning differently from all the others. So we go back here. You see that's still showing 0 a minute. So we go over here, grab some Fixmas gifts, and we can see a whole bunch of 100% here. Alright, so I think we're fine. I think if the boxes are like filling up over time, then that could be a concern. Because then it would mean that these aren't getting anything through. And this box is definitely filling up over time. What on earth is going on here? So you are lower priority than this, which is overflowing into it. Okay, and then the main belt of this goes into here but is low priority. Okay, so what's happening is that this belt can't get onto there, which means it's getting sent into here, which is cutting this one off from getting anywhere. And in the meantime, these belts over here are potentially not getting enough. Like, this belt is showing 750 something pretty steadily. Like, they're just regular drops no matter what. Now, why is that? So you are getting the priority output of this, and this is just taking all of this. Wait, hang on a minute. Oh no, this is split 50-50. So some of it is going that way to fill that up. Some of it is going this way to fill this up. And then any spare that isn't satisfied from this belt is getting satisfied from this one, which should be fine, I would think. But still, we have this one building up. So yeah, the problem is that this belt has nowhere else to overflow to if it isn't getting enough here, whereas all the other belts seem to be much better at that. Alright, so the way we fix that is, actually we can use these boxes, right? So this one is occasionally empty. Alright, so if we just maybe we can do that. Alright, so if we take this box out, replace it with an industrial storage container, we can then use those two inputs. Or no, actually we don't even need to do that. We can just have this go over to this one, I think, is the one that could use that. Alright, so this belt, we're going to have to build this back here, which is gonna result in it being a bit awful. But we have left overflow, priority, center, medium. And you can go over there now. So that is at least one additional spot for this to output to. And it'll mean that this should be a fully saturated belt at all times, which means it will have enough to make sure that this one is fully saturated, and then send some over to that one. So this is evening out up to 780. That one's already at 780. This one's at 780. This one is at 774, which, I don't know, hopefully that fix causes that to trickle through to be fine. We'll see if there's more dips like that one in the future. Alright, it's back up to 780, and no signs of stopping, although maybe we'll have caused more problems elsewhere. But at least this one is now, I think this is going down? I don't know, let's take everything out of that and have it just be filling up as it goes, and it does spend a decent amount of time empty. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign that maybe this box isn't even needed, but it's helpful if it is needed. Alright, I mean, these are all showing 780, and then this is showing whatever it needs to show, probably. Oh, no, we just had a bit of a flicker here. Which is surprising, because that's the one that I upgraded to specifically not have those problems. But, I don't know. I mean, if it's going to be something like that every so often, then... Yeah, but again, though, how is that even possible? This is going center any into it. And... I don't know. I can't figure out what's causing those occasional flickers. We might come back and revisit this at some point. For now, though, how are these two on the same thing giving different numbers? Well, it's just because of this wildly inconsistent jumping back and forth that it does, which is probably part of the problems with what this guy is doing. But anyways, I think we've done it. This looks a lot better, at least. If it isn't completely fixed, it's going to be like 99.9% fixed. So I'm pretty happy with that. So that should keep our supercomputer factory running a lot better. And let's just fly over here to the quick wire, which some of it goes into these, and then most of it goes all the way up here. Back up on the surface so I can grab some Fixmas gifts. There's another one over this way. Ooh, another 100. Love to see it. Oh, and there's another one down here. Let's grab that. This is up to 96% at least. It was at 90% or 93% or something when I last left it. So that's hopefully good. Yeah, I think hopefully this has mostly fixed the problem. I mean, we're still seeing this one being at 774, which means that we're not 100% in the clear. So let's see, this box looks like it might be filling up. It's like fluctuating between 73 and 74 now. You'll see, I suspect at some point it'll be fluctuating between 74 and 75. It's hard to say. So we've dramatically improved the problem. We haven't quite fixed it. There's still slight shortages. Actually, this one's gone down a lot. That's like an unusual amount. Alright, I'm exhausted just staring at this for ages on end. I think we're going to call the stream there. It is 4:30. We have finished our turbo motors. We've done what can be done on Fixmas Day 1. And we've also gone over here and messed with this very, very complicated high-speed belt system. So hopefully I'm going to have to probably just have a think about how to improve this more. It's probably just going to involve tearing it all out and rebuilding a newer and better design. But that will be for next stream, so thanks Ev for hanging out. It's been a little bit since I've streamed, especially streamed regularly because of, Thanksgiving and all that stuff. But we should be back to our good old consistent schedule until Christmas time. Obviously, will be more interruptions then, but for most of the rest of the month we should be fine. So thanks for hanging out. We'll be doing Factorio tomorrow, and we'll be back to Satisfactory on Wednesday. So make sure to hang out for that, and follow if you haven't already. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, So if you're interested in factory building games, I alternate between Satisfactory and Factorio. So that's about it. And yeah, I think that's good. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a lot of fun. I'll see you guys next